Today, I'm going to be talking about some of the reprints that have been announced for this year's 25th anniversary Megatins. They are coming out at the end of September, so we still have a lot of time and a lot of announcements to go through. But I wanted to highlight some of the key cards that have been announced so far that you may want to keep an eye on. So to start off, we have some really good reprints for some legacy cards, Dark Magician Girl and Harpy's Feather Duster. I really do like this alternative art of Feather Duster, to be honest with you. It really brings me back to the Harpy Lady days. And the Dark Magician Girl looking good as always. Next up, we also have another legacy reprint for Raigeki and Limiter Removal, which I find interesting because Limiter Removal hasn't really been relevant for a long time. So maybe there's some machine decks out there that I don't know about that you guys might be playing. So this would be really cool to see in everyone's decks. Another legacy reprint we have is for Invokers. I think this art is absolutely amazing. I mean, especially that Invocation. I don't know if that's supposed to be Alistair. I'm not much of an Invoker player, so I'm not sure. But it looks absolutely stunning, and definitely if you are an Invoker player, a must pick up, and Makaba looking very, very good in that art as well. That brings us to our next set of reprints, which are kind of like some key staples for the extra deck that you want to keep your eye on. Starting with Typhon. This was expected. The tins are going to reprint a lot of the major sets, so Age of Overlord. And Typhon has been a meta staple for basically ever since its release. So Typhon getting a Prismatic Secret Rare, going to look really good and going to be really solid for the price point and for those of you that are seeking a higher rarity for Typhon. And that also leads to Draco Future, which actually is getting a quarter century reprint in this tin. Now, not a lot of decks are able to play Draco Future, but one deck that can, and fairly consistently, is actually Goblin Biker, which is also receiving support later this year in October. So this will be a really beautiful addition to the deck, and definitely a pickup for those of you that can't play it. Next up, we have Chaos Angel. Chaos Angel has been a big staple in a lot of synchro decks, mainly Centurion and Vanadium. Ever since its release, its price has been through the roof. I mean, we're talking like $60 to $80. And so now with this reprint, even now, the card has gone down to about $20 to $30. Chaos Angel gonna look really good in Prismatic Secret Rare for sure. Beautiful card still, so definitely worth a pickup. Next card we have is actually Tyrant Red Dragon Archfiend. Now, I actually completely forgot about this card. I'm a fairly experienced Yu-Gi-Oh player, but when it comes to some of like the older legacy cards, I haven't been around that long, so I'm not sure. But this one is gonna look really good, and actually has a really strong effect too in the battle phase to negate spell and trap cards, which may or may not be something that we can use in a Tenpai matchup. You know, not recommending anything, but gonna be printed in quarter century secret rare. Very much needed, because I was looking at this card's price point, and actually this card is fairly old, so it hasn't received a reprint for quite some time. So this will be a really good pickup for those of you that actually really enjoy this card and want to have it in the exclusive rarity. And so next up, we have some staples for some decks that are running around the meta. One big one is Quem. Has been also a very expensive card for Branded, and also a very much needed card for Branded because it allows you to set up all the combo pieces to even play through Ash. So having Quem in Prismatic Secret Rare definitely going to help her price point, because she was lingering around $60 basically ever since her release. So this is a much needed reprint for you Branded players, and definitely worth a pickup. Next up, we have Thrust. I mean, I myself have been begging for a Thrust reprint, and so now we finally get it. It unfortunately is in Prismatic Secret Rare, which probably won't change its price too heavily, but definitely still gonna be worth the pickup, because its price will still drop to around maybe $15 to $20 roundabout. But we'll see how that plays out when the time gets there. But definitely much needed reprint. This card is still amazing to this day, and still very strong in many decks that can play it. So this is going to be a good one. Next up, we actually have Bonfire. Now, this was a more recent announcement, and I'm actually very happy about this one, because a lot of people are interested in archetypes like Ashen and Centurion, but couldn't really get access to Bonfire because at the time it was only printed in ultra rare in Maze of Millennia, and ever since then has been a stupidly expensive card because, you know, obviously the elephant in the room, Snake Eyes, completely abuses this card. All of the Snake Eye monsters are pyro, so this was just a needed addition to their deck and caused the card to just be stupidly expensive. So even though it's going to be reprinted in Prismatic Secret Rare, I still think this is going to help a lot for players to get more access to it. So much needed reprint for everyone. Next up we have Kashtira Theosis, my personal favorite card. It is already printed in Secret Rare, so this is not really much of an upgrade per se. This is just more of a needed reprint because the card was only printed in Secret Rare, and even after the ban of Arise Heart and the fall off of Kashtira, the card was still lingering to about $15 to $20 a copy. On top of the fact that you still needed planets, but those already received their reprint. So Theosis reprint definitely going to help a lot, and definitely going to see a price drop in the near future. And so next we have a big one, actually, Wanted Seeker of Sinful Spoils. So as we all know, this card has demonized the market for almost a year now. This card has basically been $100 its entire lifetime up until this point, mainly because, one, the ban list is right around the corner. Wanted's price has dropped significantly, but the thing is because they've confirmed that Wanted is going to get reprinted, it doesn't make any logical sense to ban the card or even limit it. I could see a semi-limit for Wanted for sure. It still has a very strong effect to recycle your cards and then allow you to draw a card. But the reason why they can't just get rid of it now is because the Diabellstar lore is not over. So we're still going to see some new archetypes for Diabellstar in October with the new set, and maybe even beyond that. So they need to be able to sell Diabellstar Unwanted for that new archetype. And so for those of you that were hoping that Wanted was going to receive a limit or even be banned, I really don't see it happening because they need to sell these cards. And last but not least, we have Transaction Rollback. Now this card wasn't necessarily expensive. It was initially, but then kind of fell off, but then kind of got back on again because people were playing it in YCS. But with it receiving a Prismatic Secret Rare, it's technically not like a crazy upgrade because it was printed in a side set as Ultra Rare, which is usually the max rarity for side sets. So it'll still help a lot in that it'll give players more access to Transaction Rollback for those of you that have wanted to play it. I wouldn't expect too much out of this announcement though, because with the ban list right around the corner, a lot of people are expecting Beatrice to be banned. So there won't be any more sending Angel of Blue Tears to the graveyard. There won't be any more sending Transaction Rollback to send another floodgate like the Mayakashi Trap, or even like Evenly Matched or Imperm. But still going to be a good reprint regardless because Transaction Rollback still has a really good effect, and even decks like Labyrinth still take full advantage of it even without floodgating. So definitely good reprint to give more access to everyone. So if you enjoyed this video, then please leave a like and comment your thoughts. Definitely check out our website as well.